Welcome back to this next lesson, and as you can see on the right side of my screen I have exactly what you have right now. And you've probably got a lot more. I don't have all the windows in mine, but I basically got the doors, a few windows, and you should have yours completed. But also another thing I've got in there, I've got my kitchen set up. You all see that? Cabinets, appliances, refrigerator, all that good stuff is in there. And now, after I get my first floor set up, I'm going to go ahead and start designing my foundation. And that's always the first step as a designer in architecture. You always start out with your first floor. The reason being is that way you know exactly what needs to be supported to build your foundation. So, what I want to do first is tell you how we're going to build the foundation of this and how we're going to construct, what type of method are we going to use. And there is a couple methods out there. We're going to use a platform frame construction on this, and what that means is basically right here's your platform. This is going to be your floor joist. It makes a platform, and on top of that is where you build your walls. This is going to be your stud walls are going to set exactly on top of that platform, and the platform sits on the sill plate, sits on the foundation wall, and then the footer is what supports that. So that's what we're going to use to build this one. And if you'll look on your blackboard, it says that we want to build a foundation wall that's 32 inches. Okay? So we are going to take off and start doing that, and we're going to add levels to this. To do so, I come down here in my project browser and I'm just going to go to my east elevation. Or let's go to the south elevation, probably see it a little better. And I've already got a couple things up here. You all see that? And I'll pull these over so we'll have enough room to be able to see it a little easier. I've got my top of double plate 1, and your double plate is this right here. Y'all see that? Top of double plate, that's that line right there. I've got it 8 foot 1 1/2 inch. Alright, level 1, this is my level I'm walking on in the house on the first floor, is at 0. And if you look here, my top of foundation wall is 11.5 negative, so it's 11.5 down this way. And the top of foundation wall, if you follow my cursor over here, you all see this? Right underneath that sill plate is your top of foundation wall. Alright? How I come up with 11.5 is because we want to use 2x10s on this floor as for the floor joist. So if you scoot down through here, 2x10s, the nominal size says 2x10, but the actual size says 1.5 by 9 1/4. And this is the size that you draw to. You never draw a nominal size. You always draw what it is actually. So 9 1/4, you can add that up, 9 1/4, and then we're going to put 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood, or you can put a Vantech on there, just whichever way you want to do it. It's about 3/4 of an inch. So 9 1/4 plus 3/4 is 10 inches. And then don't forget one more thing. If right up here is your 0 mark, right across the top of this floor, this is 9 1/4. And then plus you got to add in that 3/4 inch flooring. Makes 10 inches to there. And then the sill plate is a 2x6. So a 2x6, if you come down through here, 2x6 is 1.5 thick. So that's where you take 10 plus 1.5 makes 11.5, and you got the top of your foundation wall. Now, you also seen that I had on our blackboard that we want to make the foundation wall. We want to make that foundation wall right here. We want to make it 32 inches. This is how you do it. In architecture, over here is your datums, right here, level. I'm just going to roughly just put me a line over here and click. Escape to get out of the command. I'm going to double click there, and I'm going to call this one TOF, capitalize that, top of footer. Yes, I want everything to correspond with it. And that's right here, it'd be at this level right here. That'd be my top of footer, this will be my bottom of footer. But before we get too carried away, I need to set this dimension. This is going to be 32 inches and it puts it just like that. Now, if you get crowded in here, and I've got this one set at 1/4 inch equals 1 foot, you can just click that and change it, whatever you want to. But if it gets too crowded, you can click on this and hit your squiggly line, and then you can pull, and you can kind of clean up a little bit, okay? And then you can shoot that line on across there if you so choose to. Catching that dimension. Click on it and you'll get a grip just like that one, and you can be able to pull that right on across. I can't already get it for that number. There it is. And then you can pull it on across. Okay. The next thing I want to do is make a bottom of footer, but I really don't know what size my footer should be or anything of the sort. So I'm going to show you what is the minimum way to find out what your foundation wall should be, the thickness of your foundation wall, as well as the width and depth of your footer. And this is just a minimum method. And if we'll go over here to this side, I want to slide down here, and again, this is your foundation wall. We're going to find the width of it. We're going to find the width of the footer, the T foundation, and then we're going to find the height of it. And I want to slide right down here, and there's a chart. And here it is, and you've got 3 different categories. You got maximum wall height, you got maximum unbalanced backfill height, and then you got soil classifications, and you got 3 of those. Now, we're going to start out with maximum wall height. And this is just basically how tall this foundation wall is from the top of the footer up to the top of the foundation wall where it touches the sill plate. Okay? The next thing you're going to look at is maximum unbalanced backfill height. Now, what that means is unbalanced. Well, if you look at this, you see how the earth, this right here is your grade line, and this is all earth over here. So this footer was dug down to get below the freeze depth, the frost depth, and if you look right here, this is all dirt, and this is going to be crawl space and going to be opened. Okay? So they call that unbalanced when you've got dirt on this side of it and this side doesn't have any dirt. That's what they mean by unbalanced. So let's say, for instance, this wall right here is 6 foot tall. We'll just throw that out there, and we know it don't look proportional, but let's say it's 6 foot tall, and we've got dirt unbalanced on 5 foot of it. Okay? Just for an example. So it's 6 foot tall, and you got 5 foot of dirt on that wall, unbalanced. So you slide down here, you find the wall was 6 foot, and you had a 5 foot unbalance of dirt on one side. Now you got to figure out, now remember that, now you got to figure out what kind of soil that you have, and that would have to be taken to a civil engineering firm, and they would take and test your soil for you, and they would tell you exactly what kind of soil it was. And these different ones here, they're in 3 different categories or columns. We'll slide down here and I'll show you what they look like. Here, this is how you do soil classifications. You got the first letter and a second letter. The first letter is like G for gravel, S for sand, M for silt, C for clay, O for organic. And then the second letter is P, W, H, and L. It's poorly graded, well graded, high plasticity, or low plasticity. Now, this chart, what I'm showing you over here, I've got it attached in Blackboard for you, so you'll have that. But let's say, for instance, I've got let's say a SW soil, okay, and we've got that 6 foot wall, 5 foot unbalanced. So in this column, we come down, and it's telling me that my foundation wall should be 6-inch solid concrete or an 8-inch CMU, which is a concrete masonry unit. You can use either or. Now, also, it's got a little tag on it. If you can see that, it's got a D on it, and there's a little drop down footnote. It says here solid grouted hollow units or solid masonry units. So you can either pour that with concrete solid 6-inch foundation wall, or you can take a 6-inch concrete masonry unit, and pour it with grout, and it would be the same thing. You can use that. So we decide, and another thing is, after you figure this out, say like this 8-inch, where you're going to use the 8-inch CMU is what I would use on this. When you look at the rule of thumb is, whenever you figure out what this is, like this is going to be 8 inches, you always go 2 times wider on your footer. So 8 times 2, this would have to be a minimum of 16 inches wide, and the thickness is whatever this thickness is. If this is 8 inches, this needs to be 8 inches. That is just a minimum rule of thumb. It just varies depending on how much weight of the structure and also different conditions with the soil. They recommend in a lot of your textbooks that you can use that. I don't recommend ever going under 10 inches on a concrete, the thickness of your concrete. If it's a 1-story home. Now, if it gets to a 2-story home or 1.5-story, I almost always recommend using a 12-inch thick concrete. It doesn't cost you that much more, and you've got that solid foundation, which you will with this as well, but you know, this is just the minimum that you can get by with. So if I was actually designing something for myself, and whenever you're designing anything for anybody, always think about yourself and would this be all right with you? And I always like going a little bit thicker with the footer, a little bit thicker, because it makes a little bit stronger, a stronger foundation for you. So always make things, design things the way that you would like it for yourself, and you'll be all right like that. So, but anyways, over here we get back to our drawing, and I want to put me another level, and I'm going to put it at, we could go 8 inches thick, but I'm going to go on this house because it's 2 stories. I'm going to go 1 foot thick on this. This is a 2-story house, so I'm going to go 1 foot thick, and I want to start me another line across. And I'll set it for right there because it's going to mesh right in with this one. And I want to bring this one up, and then I'll bring this one over. Click on this, click that, click over, and this one here, double click it. This will be your bottom footer. All right. Yes. Now we got the top of double plate 1 already in there, and I'm going to go ahead and put second floor on there. I'm going to hit level. I want to come up 10 inches because I want that 2x10s, and I want 3/4 inch plywood, tongue and groove on that, so it would be 10 inches higher right there. We'll bring it over, double click there. This will be my second floor. Yes. Pull that across. If I can get a hold of it without bothering that other one. It's tough to do. Oh, I got it. I just had to zoom in there kind of tight to get a hold of it. Bring that across. There's your second floor. And I want to take and do that and bring that up here a little way so it doesn't disturb the look of that other. So just like that, we've got those levels in there. I can go ahead and put my ceiling level in top of my second double plate in by hitting level. And I want to go 8 foot 1 1/2. I just go up there, and then I want to click, bring that over. This would be 8 foot 1 space 1/2, enter, and this would be top of double plate 2. Yes. And I really don't know where the top of my roof will be or anything. We'll find that out later. So these are all the levels that I need to get ready to start building my foundation. So just go to your next video and we will start our foundation.